So as a product reviewer, I get a lot of emails. Some of them normal, some of them with stuff you would never believe. And so I say no to 99% of the emails I get, seriously. And so as a result, we miss out on a lot of the crazier stuff. But what if, just for fun, I said yes to everything? Again. So I did this a couple years ago because I didn't think people would believe some of the stuff that shows up in my inbox. That's how we ended up with a casket in the studio, which we still have, by the way. Top comment on that video was, we need this segment every year, but at random times, so they don't know when you're saying yes to everyone. So that's how we ended up here with this toilet. Is there a tech angle to this toilet? I guess kinda, yeah. The email said smart toilets are rising in popularity. And the Amazon listing reads, smart toilet with bidet built in, auto flush, auto open close lid, foot sensor, heated seat, warm water wash, warm air dryer, deodorizer, night light, remote control, white. Rolls right off the tongue, I know. I guess that counts as tech, but I don't plan on installing this toilet and all of the plumbing and electricity that this requires. I'll leave that to the toilet reviewers, I guess. But I will mention it does come with this remote, which is tech. This remote took 10 seconds to pair to this toilet via Bluetooth, which is nice. There's a blinking light on the remote and a blinking light inside the bowl. That's how you know it's pairing. This remote also takes AAA batteries, which were not included for the $800 price tag. That was not nice. But yeah, like I mentioned, I am not actually a toilet reviewer, so normally when this hit my inbox, it would be a pretty quick no. But for the rest of these items, I will tell you why it would have been a no in case it's not already obvious. So let's get into it. All right, so our next item is called the Xbook Laptop. And before I show it to you, I just want to throw back maybe like 10, 12 years ago. I got an email from a company from Alaska called the G-Screen Spacebook. Anybody remember this? This was a dual screen laptop. You opened it up, you slid it out, it was 2 screens. I'm a big dual monitor guy. I thought it was amazing. I never got my hands on it, but I was intrigued by the idea. And this pops in my inbox as a triple screen laptop. Now you're probably wondering, how is it a triple screen laptop? How do you open it and have 3 screens next to each other? Don't worry about it. They've thought about it. And this is the best that they could think of for 3 screens. Because you need 3 screens. Okay, here's the first. This is the top of the laptop. And this is kind of a little magnet. It's gonna make more sense later, but you can open it up right here. And boom, there's your first screen. Normal laptop, totally normal. Nothing not weird about this laptop at all. It's got that Intel Core Ultra 7, it's got 32 gigs of RAM, it's got a terabyte of storage. Don't even worry about the other 2 screens. You don't even need those right now. But what if you do need them? Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Hold on, just give me a second. Just gonna have to pull that over here, like that. And then this magnet connects them, perfect. And now I have 3 screens at the same time. So this is pretty insane, obviously. I'm not sure of a lot of things, to be honest. One, okay, when would you want to use 3 screens in this layout? Right now they're all mirroring each other. You can have them extend and have this be display number 1, display number 2, display number 3. They are all in fact touch screens and all independently will work. Okay, I have these mirroring right now and this extending, but like, why though? If I ever saw someone in a coffee shop with one of this, respect, you're clearly doing a lot of work. But yeah, this reminds me of the early days of like the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Remember the first Z Fold where it was like, okay, it was clearly a pretty bad phone, but it folded in half. And that was kind of amazing. That one interesting technology made it worth overlooking a lot of other pretty fundamental downsides that made it a bad phone, because we knew we'd eventually get to some place where it was better. The fact that you have 3 different displays and this much screen real estate is kind of cool and maybe worth overlooking the fact that trackpad's kind of bad and the laptop itself is not particularly fast. I'll show you the one trick that it has, right? Okay, here's a cool trick. You can fold this up, fold this down, and like this, right side up, it is a regular laptop. But if you want dual touchscreen, you flip her over and then you open her again, dual touchscreen laptop on the other side. Yeah, it's an idea. It's a 2 out of 10 product. but it's an idea. All right, so this here is the Garmin CIRQA. This is a screenless fitness tracker. Now, if you've been on this channel for a minute, you probably already know that I've reviewed a certain other screenless fitness tracker and the alternative, which is the other Google Fitbit Air screenless fitness tracker. So this is actually right up our alley, and I've spent a couple of days with it. We've also had Andrew at the studio spend some time with it, and we've talked about it on the podcast. So we are actually very familiar, and this is something that I would say yes to. And it's interesting. Essentially, the conclusion that we've came to on this is, so it's $200 outright, no subscription. It's clearly aiming at the Whoop to be a puck on your wrist that is comfortable, that doesn't have a screen to distract you, and that has all the functionality of tracking you all the time. And it actually has a couple different extra features. For example, there's a button on the side, which none of the others have. So a customizable button that lets you start a workout, which is super convenient if you don't have your phone in your pocket. I also happen to really like the band. This is the blue band that it came with here. There's a couple other colors, but it's soft, it's fabric, it's stretchy, and it attaches by Velcro. Honestly, I think this product would be much more impressive if it came out before the Fitbit Air. I think the Fitbit Air actually nails the form factor a little better. It's a bit smaller, narrower, pokes off of my wrist less. You can watch the whole video about that if you want. And it also offers a lot of data without a required subscription. So I'll leave a link below to DC Rainmaker. He did a lot of testing about the data and the accuracy of these things. So this versus the Fitbit versus the Whoop. And there's a lot more information to dive in there if you really care about that sort of thing. My conclusion is that I probably wouldn't get or recommend the Garmin version because it feels like a slightly less elegant Fitbit Air. But as a product as a whole, like a 6.5 out of 10. But speaking of Whoop alternatives, I promise, imagine spending $1,000 on a smart toilet when you could actually just get the smart toilet top and not the whole toilet itself and measure all kinds of things for $200. I didn't plan this. This is the Kasana Smart Toilet Seat. As you can see, there are some like electrical leads and a bunch of really obvious pieces of metal on the toilet. Because yes, unlike the other smart toilet that I've looked at in this video, I never thought I'd say that sentence, this is gonna measure a whole bunch of things like your heart rate, like heart rate variability, like your breathing rate, your stress levels. There's an app on the App Store that shows all of this stuff to you in real time. There's a stat called duration for some reason. Also important to mention, since it is a Whoop alternative / competitor, this also has a subscription fee. Okay, so you pay the $200 and on the website it says for the $199 you get this and the first year for free. And then once that year is over, you pay an additional $10 every month to keep using it and keep getting that data, even though you already own the thing. This is why people don't like Whoop. This is not something I normally would have said yes to, and as you can tell, I haven't actually connected it and tested it myself. But looking at it, I don't think I would want something like that. I mean, it looks so, the cold metal, I don't know if this is, I would rather have the Garmin than to measure my blood pressure and heart rate with this. 4 out of 10. All right, so this thing here, this is called the Busy Bar. And it does exactly what it sounds like it does. It's a button that tells people that you're busy. And then it tells you how long you're busy, and then you can pause it, and then it's actually kind of fun. I didn't realize how much fun this could be. This feels like one of those products that you would get as a gift for someone that you don't know very well and they kind of have everything already, but maybe this would be something fun that they could add to their setup. So it's got this app on the phone where you can set yourself to being busy for a certain amount of time, and then it will sync with this particular box, which is cool, but obviously there's a bunch of other things it can do. I think it's kind of awesome. It's clearly overpriced at $200, but I find this button very satisfying to press. The animations are nice. The screen is nice. It's like annoyingly full-featured and does a lot of stuff, all from the simple concept of just like a busy button, a Pomodoro timer. What I also like is it has smart home connectivity as well. So you can have your Google Home or your Alexa or your HomePod talk to this to tell it to say certain things as well. Cool gift, $200 or so. It's pricey, but I don't mind that. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Why not? It's fun. I think things should be fun. All right, here we have now Mondo Robotics Beni Robot. This is one of those things that made me glad that I said yes to everything, because this is something I ordinarily would not have said yes to. A small, friendly camera robot on wheels that will follow you around. And then I get the email and I click on their website, and it's got a ton of videos that are absolutely insane. Videos that don't really look real. Some of them look real, some of them, honestly, to me, like the skateboarding one, look AI generated as well. My red flags are up. I'm extremely suspicious, but I say yes to it anyway because I'm saying yes to things. So this shows up, right? And it's got this little controller here as well. It's got these little ears, and it has an app. And it turns out it does literally everything it says it does. So just a little bit of a breakdown. This is the robot's face/head, but there's a camera up here at the front, and these eyes will light up in a second. This is a Kickstarter, so it's not necessarily a completely finished product yet. But then on the back, it came with 2 batteries that kind of just pop out like this, just like a drone. Double tap, just like a DJI drone. All right, so now I'm connected to it on my phone, which gives me a first-person view of the camera and lets me do all the controls. I prefer the phone app over the controller, so I'll go ahead and just fire it up. Jesus Christ, okay. So the app is showing me the camera feed. I can have the robot look up, look down. Typically, it's pretty good at tracking a person, which we'll get to, but I can also have it jump. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna press the jump button. Jesus, oh my God. Okay, it can do a flip. A front flip sounds cool, right? Oh. No! Wait. No! I swear I can do it. I've never seen it self-eject in a front flip before. Bang. Okay, it can do a front flip. What? So it's got the cameras on the front, it can shoot 4K footage, it has object avoidance, kind of like a drone, so while it's rolling around and tracking and following a person, it will actually avoid the things on the ground in between him and the person. Shoots 4K 30, has different speed modes. So right now, it's on the table in front of me, it's in low speed mode. I'm not trying to go as fast as I possibly can. But Beni in sport mode can go 18 miles per hour as it follows either you or a pet or whatever you want it. You literally just tap the box over the subject in the viewfinder in the app and it just follows it. It's also really durable, by the way. It's fallen off of this, but it's also like crashed into things. It's basically all plastic. I've got footage of it like slamming into cardboard boxes and table legs, which is not what it's supposed to do, but it's charming that it can actually survive that stuff. There's even times where it's tracking something, or I'm like going, it like nicks a leg on a table and it like kind of falls a little bit, but then it gets up really quickly. So this whole self-balancing gimbal part, like it seems to it's very durable and able to recover and get back into a normal, stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty good, man. It's generally able to get back on its feet. Beni Robot, shout out to Beni. Sorry, I shouldn't. You're right, I shouldn't pick you up. Sit. It's a 10 out of 10. What else do you want me to say? I love this thing. Clearly, I wouldn't have said yes to it, but I'm glad I did, and I'm probably gonna get another one. All right, next up is a mouse. You can tell by the brown and by the fan inside that it's a Noctua mouse, but it's a collab. Noctua, as some of my nerdier viewers well know already by now, makes PC fans, brown ones, really good ones. And so they've lent their name to this mouse, so Pulsar Noctua mouse with fan in it. So this is a wireless mouse, but I'm gonna plug it in because I wanna make sure it's getting all of the power since it's fresh out the box. And I took the little plastic off the bottom. Right off the bat, I already noticed it glides really nicely, and this is from someone who's used about 10 mice in my whole life, but it's super, super light, 42,000 DPI, that is insane. All right, it says here to turn the fan on, hit the side buttons 2 and 3 and scroll up. You can hear that, right? It is full blowing air onto my palm. No more sweaty palms. I've never had an issue with sweaty palms. Okay, so this on the box, it says 3-step control, off, speed 1 and speed 2. But there's actually 5, just from me trying this out. Light blue, up to dark blue. Can you see that? Up again to green, and then up again to yellow. And that's the fastest fan speed is the yellow. I'm not mad at it, and I'm not a mouse reviewer, but now that we're here, I'm pretty impressed. Sure, Why not? Put a fan in a mouse. I'm gonna give it an 8. All right, so next up is this little thing right here. This is called the Cardia 6L Max. Now you might be wondering, what is this little thing? What is this tiny little handheld device that you're putting on camera here? This is a personal EKG device. And so it does exactly what it says. It's a medical grade personal EKG. It's $130. Now the thing to note here is I am not a doctor. Actually, that's not true. Technically, I did get an honorary doctorate degree when I gave the commencement speech at my alma mater, which means I am a doctor, but I'm not really a medical doctor. So it's pretty obvious why I wouldn't say it's something like this, but what I do know is I've taken EKGs on other like personal health devices, like Apple Watch. I know you can take an electrocardiogram, so that's ECG. There's also an app that this comes with, so it basically instructs you on how to do it. There's multiple points of contact, so you see these metal contact points on the outside here. There's also one on the back, so you grip on both sides and then you place it on your leg for a third point of contact. So it has all this data coming in from all different angles. So when you buy something like this, you get the hardware, you also get a 1-year membership to Cardia Care, which is essentially a way for doctors to then get the information from the device. So it's not like you just get this and then do all the work yourself. You have the doctors look at the data, and that's how you come together to get a better picture of your heart health. And ideally, if it's as accurate as it says it is, then I don't see why it's not an 8 out of 10. Again, I'm not a doctor. So then the next thing is the Honor Robot phone. They sent me an email, and their email said, can we come by the studio and show it to you? It's already been sort of revealed in press images, but it looks kind of insane. We'd like to demo it and get it in your hands. And of course, I said yes. So the idea basically is, imagine if your smartphone camera was also a gimbal. Because on this phone, you slide the glass open on the back, and then you can flip open a gimbal with a 200 megapixel main camera, and it can do all of the things you're exactly now picturing that your gimbal camera can do. The gimbal itself is also really tiny. You've probably seen like the DJI Osmo or something like that. This is giving you all of those same benefits, but with tiny, tiny motors, and it fits in your pocket, obviously, when it folds onto the back of your phone. So stabilization modes, being able to turn it and point it wherever you want. And then, of course, there's also an AI assistant that brings the gimbal to life, like a sort of a anthropomorphized face that nods along to the beat of music you're playing and wiggles around and can give you happy and sad expressions. It's all a bit much, if I'm being honest, but you can also ask it what it thinks of the outfit you're wearing, and it will look you up and down and tell you. It is like one of those concept phones come to life. I've never really actually pictured them bringing this to market and shipping it, but now it seems like they're going to. They're also doing this in partnership with Arri, which Arri does a lot of high-end stuff like red, so they're doing some color science, custom color modes and LUTs on this phone that honestly seem to work pretty well. You can shoot in log, or you can shoot with pre-stamped LUTs from a bunch of different profiles. Haven't gotten any camera quality samples off of the thing, but seems like a good feature. I want to give it like a 9, because they actually made it and it's real, and I didn't think they would. And it's doing too much, which is better than not doing enough, so I'm not mad at it. So yeah, sure, 9 out of 10. All right, so the next item here, as you can see, is a chair. I'll get to this in a second, but a very adjustable chair. And I had a couple suspicions when I first got this email. Some of you may know I've been using the same chair for the better part of a decade and a half. But when I see this $1,200 AI-powered massaging chair, I can't help but have that thought of, I don't know, maybe the grass is a little greener on the other side. Maybe I'm missing something. Here's what the chair features. It has this remote control, which does all of the things in the chair. So the chair has cooling element, low vent, medium vent, or high. It's cooling my butt right now. It also has a heating element in it as well. There's also a massage feature. So this piece right here, which is actually moving right now, is the lumbar support. And it has a low, medium, or high massage. It's fine, I guess. It's only on the lower back though, it's not on the butt. Anyway, then there is the movement of this actual piece itself here. So, see how that moves like maybe 3 or 4 inches forward and then moves backward? So you can manually move it forward or backward. But why would you do it manually when this chair has artificial intelligence built in, according to the website, to do it for you, because there's an auto smart track feature. So when I turn that on, basically what I feel now is, you can hear it also moves forward to like meet me where I am. I don't know how this is AI powered or tracking in any way. And what's crazy is when you go on their website, they have like a picture of like an AI chip that I guess is somehow in this chair. It also has this, sort of post up like this in the chair. But I think my real conclusion that I found with this chair is it is possible to have too much customizability. This headrest, for example, a little, they are like customizable in every single way. It's a lot. Like get out of the chair, which I figure most people get out of the chair. I would normally not say yes to this email because when I see AI powered chair, I kind of know where this is going. But I'm glad I said yes to it so I could make that discovery. But it is still a functional chair that you can sit in. I guess that's not a disaster. 4 out of 10. All right, next up here we got a pair of headphones. This Skullcandy Crusher 1080 ANC. These are brand new and they're most expensive headphones yet. I don't know if you guys know too much about Skullcandy, but I'm a little older and I remember back in my day, Skullcandy was the headphones that you got from the fashion store, Forever 21. I've never had a particularly high opinion on the audio quality of Skullcandy headphones, but now they're coming along with a pair of $280 active noise canceling over-ear headphones, and they've done it in collaboration with Bose. So there's a lot of big talk about the sound by Bose of these headphones. I've taken them out the box already. I have not listened to them or tried them yet, and I'm about to, but right off the bat, they're actually built really well. I guess we'll just jump right in. When you turn them on and off, there's like a voice that says, power on. And then when you turn it off, it says, see ya. Okay, connected. There's also, on the side here, a bass wheel. So they're still really into the bass thing on just skull-crushingly powerful, loud bass, and you can turn it up or down. I'll start it all the way down at the minimum. Okay. Wow, all right. So at its lowest amount of bass, like 9 out of 10 bass, wow, these are strong. You turn the bass wheel up all the way and it becomes an exaggerated, overwhelming muddying of the entire lower end of just booming, powerful bass. So if the song you're listening to has a bass line or a drum beat or an 808, pretty much all you're gonna hear. You know, maybe there's people for sure who all they wanna do is feel the bass through their chest and their skull and they go to concerts and that's what they're there for. The fun factor is high, but I don't think I would spend $280 for these. But nothing else sounds like this, so 6 out of 10. All right, so this next thing has by far the most red flags of anything else that we're looking at today. From the email to the website, even through it actually getting here, I still am not exactly sure what's going on with this company. But I'll show you anyway. Hopefully it's not a scam, it's weird. So it's a thin portable gaming PC. At least that's what this is. When you go to their website, you get an email from them, you say yes to everything, you go to the website and you investigate. The only 2 things on their website are this computer and a $10,000 e-bike pod looking thing that they're saying is street legal. Those are the only 2 things this company sells. So I'm not really sure what's going on. It's grantsinclair.com. This screams like it's just a guy who has like 2 ventures that he's into and maybe both of them are working well, I don't know. But he sent us this gaming PC. I fired it up. It's less gaming PC and more just like a couple stacked PCBs with an emulator that can play a couple of games and gets kind of warm. But yeah, as you can see by this thing, it's got essentially these 2 unlabeled controls, which underneath you can like feel a bunch of different buttons, but it's basically like a D-pad over here and then like a selector here. There is a micro SD card slot at the top. There's a couple ports over on the side, one of them being mini HDMI, and then there's a USB Type-C port at the bottom to charge it. And then there's 2 speakers at the top. So you open one of these games, Astro Blaze, and you select it. Yeah, I'm not very good at this, but there's a lot of enemies here. It's weird. It has a couple games built in. You can add games to it. It is very thin and light, but I have very little experience with stuff like this. It's essentially a Raspberry Pi. It's about 150 bucks on their site. It's a weird site, man. I don't know. I said yes. I'm not sure if I regret it yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But now we have a tiny gaming PC. 5 out of 10? It kind of doesn't do anything terribly. Maybe the pads on the bottom could be a little stickier so I could maybe these should be labeled. 5 out of 10. Okay, so this has been behind me the whole time. It's a new TV. This is the Sony Bravia 9 II. This is in my inbox as a true RGB TV. That's the pitch. This is a very premium 65-inch TV. It costs $3,600, but also goes up to like 115 inches or something like that. It is not an OLED, but Sony is pitching this true RGB technology to be almost as good as OLED without the downsides of OLED. So true RGB means independently controlled red, green, and blue LEDs instead of passing through filters. So really vibrant color and great brightness, but also no burn-in like you do get with some OLEDs, and that is the headlining technology. And it's also a smart TV, so I'm on the YouTube app, and I found that right out the box, it was very obvious that the reds are super saturated, and this is just in the standard mode. Even when I switch over here to the cinema mode or some of the other less vibrant modes, it's still a ton of saturation on the reds. So it's just something I noticed right out the box. Obviously, it's still a really good looking TV. It's still 4K, it still has a ton of resolution. But I found that some of the extra stuff around the TV, around the image, actually made just as much of an impact for me. Specifically, the anti-glare finish. You were looking at this TV in front of a massive window right now, and the first thing I noticed when looking at it is that it reflects almost nothing. So it's got these deep blacks, it's got really, really high brightness, it's got saturated colors, and you can see everything because the anti-reflective tech is actually good. I also really like this little box right underneath the display right here, which hides the power cable. If you've ever seen those like lenticular films that you can put in front of a person to sort of make them disappear like an invisible cloak or whatever, that's basically the same thing, specifically to make the power cable go away. And then also, fun fact, this remote is USB Type-C powered. You'll never lose the TV remote batteries again. I don't know how often you were losing the batteries. And I'll also say that the spatial reproduction from the speakers on this TV was also really impressive to me. So there's this demo when you first set it up to sort of read the room. You hold the remote out in front of it, which has a microphone in it, and then it plays all these sounds and you can kind of hear it figuring out how to set up surround sound. But there are directional, like firing tweeters that go straight up at the ceiling in the back of the TV, and there's a bunch of other larger speakers. There's no woofers. It's not the most bass in the world. Now, would I've normally said yes to this? Possibly. This is sort of also right on the borderline. If anything, just to see this new RGB, true RGB tech. Yeah, I think given the price tag, it's hard to give it much more than about like a 7.5 out of 10. It is quite an expensive TV, but the benefits are pretty clear. So this experience, as you know, is me saying yes to a bunch of product review requests, and that is a very common type of email that I get, but I also get lots of other types of emails that weren't included in this video that I didn't say yes to. There are things like speaking invitations, event invites, ad sponsored requests, things like that. So I'll give a shout out to the Ray Neo AR smart glasses who get the award for most times emailing me during this one period. They were all asking to do an ad for the product. They emailed me 6 times from 6 different accounts. Shout out to them. And then there was another certain company who will remain nameless, who initially reached out to just send a product, and I replied, and I said yes, as I am. And I think they were a little taken aback by that, and so they replied, actually, can we do a collaboration instead, like an ad? And I said, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm actually, if you want to send the product for me to check it out, I'll do that. And so they said, okay, never mind, but if we can do a collab/ad, then yes. I've never seen that before. They said their policy does not let them ship out any products without confirmed video coverage, meaning they wanted to guarantee that I was going to make a video. Fellow creators, that is a huge red flag. Do not ever agree to that. But do definitely get subscribed to tune back in to when I inevitably do this again. And there's also one more thing that I did say yes to, which was to Best Buy to sponsoring this video. So I have been answering emails and covering tech for the better part of 17 years, which is actually more than I have not been doing this. But Best Buy has me beat. They've been celebrating their 60th anniversary this year. So one of the most fun parts of these say yes to everything videos is now there's a bunch of physical products that I actually get to get hands-on with and test that I ordinarily wouldn't have gotten to try. But that is what Best Buy does best, is they'll let you get hands-on with the best tech before you actually make your purchase decisions. And they've been doing it longer than anyone else. I mean, they're one of the only tech stores that has been selling cell phones since the start of cell phones, basically. So you can find the tech upgrades you need and elevate your daily life at bestbuy.com. We'll have a link down below in the description for you to check it out. But otherwise, this has been it. Thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.